Ever walk by like a hospital at night and wonder what keeps those lights on? I mean, it's got to be more than just flipping a switch, right?
Right.
We're taking a deep dive today into a career that's actually pretty crucial, a steam plant operator.
Well,
We're going to go way beyond like boilers and gauges to see if this is something you might be into.
yeah, it's funny how often people have the wrong idea about this job. You hear steam plant and probably picture, this big dirty place with no real future.
Totally. Like it's all about muscle, not much brain power needed. But from the stuff you sent over, seems like that's not really accurate, is it?
You got it. Yeah, there's way more to it. Sure, it can be tough work, but this field has changed a lot. Automation's a big deal now, with all these fancy monitoring systems. Efficiency is where it's at.
So less about shoveling coal, more about like analyzing data,
Mm.
optimizing things. I get how that appealed to someone who likes solving problems for sure.
Exactly. And it's not just keeping the lights on in some old factory. Think hospitals, universities, even those super modern renewable energy places. That career guide you shared actually said steam plant operators. They're needed practically everywhere.
Oh, that's a good point. Bet a lot of folks don't realize just how many different places need this kind of work. Speaking of which, what's the job market looking like these days?
Now that's the interesting part. RoleCatcher, that industry report, it predicts a 10% jump in demand for steam plant operators over the next 10 years. That's faster than a lot of other jobs, which definitely made me pause.
10%. Whoa, that's massive.
Yeah.
Seems like a pretty safe bet for someone looking for job security, huh?
Yep. Especially since it's in so many industries, like we were saying, that's a killer combo.
For sure. And if you've got the right experience, the certifications, the money can get pretty good too.
All right, so we've established this isn't your grandpa's boiler room anymore. There's serious opportunity here, but let's dig into the nitty-gritty a bit. Day to day, what's a steam plant operator actually doing? Well, picture this. You're in this high-tech control room, right? Not just like old school dials and stuff, but computers showing you what's happening all over the plant.
Okay, so we're talking serious monitoring here,
Right.
not just like hoping that pressure gauge is accurate.
You got it. You're the one making sure all that important stuff keeps flowing, heating, cooling, the whole shebang. Imagine a hospital. It's a heat wave. You're the reason those operating rooms stay at the right temperature. That takes knowing how it all works, and I mean really knowing.
That reminds me, the career guide mentioned troubleshooting a lot. What kind of things would a steam plant operator have to figure out?
Well, think about it. You've got boilers, turbines, pumps, the controls. If it can go wrong, it probably will at some point, right? Could be a pressure problem in a pipe. Could be a sensor that's giving you bad info. Got to figure out what's up fast, see how it affects everything else, then fix it before things go really south.
Sounds like you got to be super detail-oriented then, catching those little things before they become big things.
100%. That's where those critical thinking skills we were talking about come in. No instruction manual is going to help you when things go sideways fast. You have to analyze on the fly, get creative sometimes. Got to work under pressure, that's for sure.
So it's a demanding job then that's clear, both technical and, needing that ability to think straight when things get hectic. But let's shift gears a sec. Let's talk about you, the listener. We've painted the picture of the job, but is it a good fit for you? That's the question.
That's what it all comes down to, isn't it? That RoleCatcher report you sent, the functions and core abilities section, that's gold right there.
Right. It lays out what makes a good steam plant operator.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of just listing it all off, how about an example? Give us one of those traits in action, make it real.
Sure thing. Take monitoring, for example. Sounds kind of boring, right?
Yeah.
But say you're watching the pressure on a boiler system. This thing's heating a whole skyscraper. Okay. Most folks wouldn't even notice. But you see this tiny change in the reading.
So you're not waiting for some alarm bell to go off. You're ahead of the game.
You got it. Catching it early could mean the difference between a quick fix and, well, that whole skyscraper going cold. That's the power of paying attention, of knowing what to look for and being on top of your game.
So you got to have the skills, got to be able to think fast.
Yeah.
But what about building a real career out of this? Can you actually move up in the world of steam plants?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's another thing those sources were great for, the RoleCatcher report. It lays out how you can go from the bottom to, managing the whole show.
Not just stuck in one spot forever then. There's room to grow.
Big time. Could be starting as an assistant, learning how things work hands-on, get that experience under your belt, then boom, you're the one running more complex stuff, more responsibility, maybe even in charge of a whole team down the line.
And I'm guessing those certifications we touched on earlier, Those come into play as you move up, right?
Totally. The report specifically mentioned the CSPO certified steam plant operator. That's a big one. And the CBO certified boiler operator. That's no joke either. Having those on your resume, that says you're the real deal, you know? Opens doors to better jobs, better pay, the whole 9 yards.
So someone's listening right now. They're actually picturing themselves doing this. What's next? Where should they go to find out more, really dig in?
Well, that career guide you sent, it had this one group I thought was worth checking out. NAAOE, that's the National Association of Power Engineers.
MAAPE, all right.
Mm-hmm.
What's the deal with them? What do they offer someone who's, say, totally new to this whole thing?
Think of them as like the headquarters for everything steam plant related. Training programs, chances to meet other folks in the field, even help finding jobs.
So more than just getting certified, it's like joining a club. People who get what it's all about, helping each other out.
Exactly. Plus, they keep up with all the new tech, new ways of doing things, important in a field like this, always changing and improving, you know.
We've covered a lot of ground here. Started with this idea of a steam plant, probably a little old-fashioned in people's minds, but turns out it's high-tech, super important stuff, keeping hospitals running, whole cities even. A steam plant operator, they're the ones making sure it all works.
And with climate change and all that, finding new ways to do things, their job's only going to get more important in the future. It makes you think, what kind of energy will we even be using in 10, 20 years? Exciting time to be getting into this field, that's for sure.